By me start with the word of prayer, and I'll call upon our powerful PS to lead us in prayer this morning. Thank you, PS.
Thank you, Chair. Close your eyes and I'll pray. Father God, this morning as we come here once again, God, to deliberate on this very important piece of legislation for the country, Father. We pray, O God, that as we go through this bill, O God, you continue to guide us, give us wisdom, understanding, and knowledge as we look every clause by clause of the bill, Father. We ask you, Father, to go with us through the day. Keep us and bless us through this day as well, Father. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. Thank you, PS and team, with the Attorney General's Chamber, the legal draftsperson. Welcome to our morning session. As been alluded to in prayer, we are now going clause by clause. We've covered 78 clauses, and this morning we'll start with Part 8, Division 1, and Clause 79. You are protected by our parliamentary privileges. I'm obliged to again remind you. So let's continue to be mindful of that, and let's use that powerfully in our interventions as well. So I'm happy to welcome you with my colleagues, members of the committee. On the far left, we have David Gaynor, Member of Parliament for South New Georgia, Rentova and Tetepari constituency. Immediate on my left, Honorable John Tin Kuku, Member of Parliament for North New Georgia constituency, and on my right, the powerful leader of the opposition and Member of Parliament for Auke Lanalana, Honorable Matthew Walem. Myself, Honorable John Maniniaro, West Area constituency, the Chairman of the Bills and Legislation Committee. Without further ado, we'll start. I'll allow my members to ask questions pertaining to Clause 79, and then we'll take it from there. Thank you very much. Yes, Leader.
Thank you, Chairman. So Clause 79, employee here, not including PS. But why is that?
Thank you. PS. Oh.
Thank you, Chair, for that question. I think by me asking legal draft person for explaining drafting why I'm person no make reference to PS. Thank you.
Thank you, PS. Legal drafts person.
Thank you, Honourable Chairperson. There's provisions on the permanent secretary, performance management, etc. And I take it from the reading of the bill throughout. There's there's provisions right throughout that you will find that there's that line, that's the permanent secretary is not covered under that provision. And the reading of that is perhaps 42 has got the performance management of Clause 42, the performance management of performance secretaries, and as we had discussed earlier, they will be under contracts and etc. So where they are not caught here, they will all be under that performance management in that provision, in division about permanent secretaries.
If that's the argument, then you should include the deputy secretary and those who are under contract. If the argument is that employee conduct is covered by the review committee process and the contract, then you'd need to broaden it. My first reaction on my initial reading of it was that, oh, well, he's the guy who's going to administer, responsible for administration of the law. We're talking about employee conduct here.
Yes. I believe this is, of course, a policy decision to have, not to have, this, as you will see, there's a number of provisions that the permanent secretaries are not part of under here, inside, right throughout.
I mean, this is not all permanent secretaries, this is just public service permanent secretary.
To the permanent, yes, there's provisions, there are other provisions also similar to this one.
Yes, what's the policy rationale to exclude public service permanent secretary from this part?
Thank you, Chair, for that question as well. Okay, in terms of the question is that in answering that, I think because the permanent secretary administering this for act, so there's a process blame could be in line with other permanent secretaries if is the issue of misconduct. There's a process blame stop aside from this act as well.
Okay, so it was let's look at when I have conduct law permanent secretary semi covered. Apart from clause 42, just covers the permanent secretary's conduct. So far, reading below me is, apart from clause 42, which is really a performance review tool, there is nothing similar to part 8 that actually covers permanent secretary. Yeah?
We will find the non-inclusion of the permanent secretary is we look
so here, 79 excludes all of part 8, excludes the
permanent
secretary for public service. Not all the other permanent secretaries, just the public service permanent secretary. That's my reading of clause 79, huh?
Yes.
All the other permanent secretaries are included in part 8.
Responsible.
Is that correct, LD?
We'll just find that. We'll go through the bill to find where those provisions, particular to the permanent secretary only.
Right.
Yep, and then highlight those.
Okay, but in terms of clause 79 itself,
Yep.
only public service permanent secretary is excluded. All the other permanent secretaries are included in the meaning of employee for part 8.
Yes, if yes, the permanent secretary as defined, yes, is the permanent secretary for public service.
You should put them got DS inside.
We'll confirm the, we will confirm the policy behind, or whether it's just the permanent secretary or the permanent secretaries across with the ministry.
Thank you, Nicola, Trustperson. It could, be sort of thinking backwards when there was no other employees contracted, TS or SEMIA. So permanent secretary no more contracted. So okata leave mo kata out. Okata no rikati mo kata as an employee, but contracted employees. But here, M change now. Okata TS they are also in contract, and by okata to review in terms of their performance, and they have a number of years. So I think the point the leader is raising here, and in this particular clause 79, Hemi only PS public service no hem no kawam, then needs to be consistency.
But
so yes, leader.
Yeah. In any case, the policy position, if permanent secretary of Ministry of Public Service is not included in Part 8, then he must be or she must be included elsewhere, beyond just the review committee process. But the way it is at the moment, it appears to me we're then placing the Permanent Secretary of Public Service on a pedestal, all on his own. And then all his Permanent Secretary colleagues and other contracted public officers and line officers are all caught under this, the meaning of employee, Part 8. So that he oversees that. Okay, that's fine. He must also live by the same rules, the same law. If that is not caught elsewhere, and I don't think that's a matter you delegate merely to a contract. It has to be in the law somewhere. If these are good enough, if Part 8 is good enough for all other permanent secretaries, then I think the argument for excluding Public Service Permanent Secretary weakens. He can still be the administrator of it and be included in it.
Chair, thank you very much for this intervention as well. Okay, well, we take note of that very important issue you stated, Lina. We take note of that. This will be part of the recommendations as well to look at this one, and we first put him in close somewhere in terms of the permanent secretaries. So we take note of that. So Team Lumi, we talk with Team LD, and then we'll see how we move this one. Thank you.
Yeah, okay, good.
Thank you, P.S. Colleague John Tincook, you have a comment?
Suggestion number, Chair. Pundili team straight away number 79 ya. Dili team kono.
I think you said we'll look at these options, your recommendations as well. So we'll look at that and maybe come back more and then Mr. which put and part for Mr. Lobilian. So say we'll take note of the recommendations as well. Time team discuss, then we'll see how we go. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, PS. With that, let's move on to clause 80. Application of Part 8.
So this one here, conduct of an employee occurring in Solomons, Law A, or another country. This one for diplomats, believe me, or time public officers go travel, or? Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What's been the practice? Time what officers travel, and if all get a misconduct law oversee, what's been the disciplinary process?
Thank you, Sir, for that question as well. Okay, normal process where stop here, if a person go overseas and then the case has been reported to us, go through normal discipline process where apply for any other public officer.
Oh yeah?
Or stop the country.
So same normal as if you were here?
Yes.
Depending on the severity of...
Yes, yeah.
If I'm criminal?
If I'm criminal nature, I think if I'm happen for Australia, maybe committing a criminal offense there, maybe the law country there, so I take him what now? I mean penalties for him. So we could not like it me hard for me go decide what not criminality or severity for issue him cause him. But yes, if him go overseas and cause him criminal offense, I think law country him take control of him. They would arrest him and charge him under laws law country. And if him come back law country, the case doesn't go to us, then we could deal with at the public service disciplinary process.
But if I'm holding diplomatic passport, I'm claiming diplomatic immunity, what happens then?
Usually in that cases, most what's them come more law back law country no more.
Then what?
Then you will do now disciplinary process here. For example, if all man go or diplomat, like not really diplomat, but a person work in Australia, like or missions blame was then cause him issue. Usually what happens is that the receiving country him requesting for money, him recall him come back here na. Once him arrive here, depend on severity of the case na. Usually what happen na, him out from the foreign service na. Then we may charge him under the district process public service, and then are them demoted, a certain level go down. Or if the case is severe too much, him go as fast termination na.
So, but no any criminal proceedings. Matter is not referred for criminal procedure.
That one, I no experience made in terms of immediate matters of criminal procedure. Usually, okata send them come back come back to the country, immediately with him, and then most times those people have been removed from the foreign affairs, demote him okata, then you post him with other places.
PS, in terms of consistency, then case utility was demote, similar case law here, where officer, employee, involved him, it's going to be the same treatment or by him different? Because overseas the staff look at the icons in embassies, blame come by, then demoted, then you follow post him.
Say him follow the issue costume, him follow issue code and severity of that issue costume. Then him now follow certain part of regulation of PSC. Him now me charge him. If him need for some disease more, I'm gonna. Let's so every case him treat the same no more.
Okay, thank you.
So code of conduct law you mean law here? Apply law foreign service to you?
Yes.
Or not got any additional just for foreign service?
No, for us the same code of conduct apply as long as you're paid for by government pays here. Apply as long as you're public servant. Apply leave now.
So maybe there is need for a little bit to trivial additional code for the man representing me overseas.
So maybe once this follow bill and pass, we could prescribe in the next Prime Minister regulation here. We could include some of those issues where you raise them within the code of conduct as well.
I mean, surely they carry a heavier burden than a public officer working at home, and because they're representing the country and the government and also their behavior and conduct becomes very important both during work hours and after work hours also.
We take note of that. Once we will develop a new code of conduct, that one I'm including inside now.
The foreign service officers blame me. What come lo IPAM to you man? People training more law, diplomacy and etiquette and how go. They are good.
So Chair, thank you. Not regularly, but before I got one for training there for diplomacy.
Oh, yeah?
Basic one where what foreign affairs or the help me follow it.
How for no go drunk and misbehave.
See, actually, what the foreign service, like foreign affairs, most look at that, like what taking what courses like IPAM too. That's how we make him a lot of blood go up and make the way up. So most of them are quite senior officers now. You send them out there, level 12, 13. So I think when they went out, that's maybe the reasons why I would send them out, and in base law, those performance to before send them out. And then they have, yes, they ought come to IPAM for taking more trainings to IPAM too. Yeah. So, but then there is no specific course where we will put in for, let's say, for diplomats. The courses come here, because generally the courses here, I'm teaching about ethics for public service, no? So those things here could be linked to behavioral person too. Yeah. Or time you go to the country or something, this ethics now you follow. I mean, should be part of daily living no more. Should not part of time you diplomat, you wear a hat and then this one from time you come back to the house and different. This could be part of body blue now, behavior blue now. So that's what we try to preach at IPAM in terms of this. Because as long as you're public servant for life now. Unless you die now, you resign, you go somewhere, then you're no longer public servant.
Yeah, but in cases below diplomats, the M added extra responsibility. You're 24/7 representative. No time you Kasim house is to be a representative. Yeah, time you Kasim house, you out in transit, you wear lava, naked body, walk boat around. All right, no, but you ambassador for Milo Dubai, you naked body, lava, volume, road here, but hey, money, all right, oh. And then the training for partners or spouses, wives or husbands, you know, for dress properly. How you mean no sir how for dress here? I mean to meet different that basic kind of training is required, and etiquette for different cultures. Different cultures handle protocol etiquette in a nuanced way, and sometimes our partners, our would-be partners, tell us where we're at just by the way we dress, the way we handle the etiquette already betrays our lack of experience or our lack of competence in certain issues. So very basic training must go here. Both now, one ambassador and wife plan. But anyway.
Yeah, thank you, sir. We'll take care of that, and then we work with the Foreign Affairs Department for the training where I'm tailored towards the Ministry of Foreign Affairs no more in terms of training. So maybe IPAM will take note of that, and then we'll try and help them in terms of this one, because as you stated, they need like as people when you go outside, they need to be trained on these areas, yeah, and especially all even their wives too, yeah, partners as well. Now go to a meeting, then come look at them, and Arab come with time, go shoot in the office. Yeah. Those are the areas we look like. So we take note of that. It's important. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, PS.
Side law pay, we're digressing a little, but side law pay, law foreign service, okay, normal basic salary law under law public service, that one go, and then they have an incremental scheme or for where I get stuck, cost of living and something. What happens?
Yes, they have that. The normal salary and pay later. Then once it go overseas or take a daily stipend in terms of I'm Garland Vola, I think if certain places you post them, this one now you take him.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
So different regulation for
yeah, out Garim.
Regulation deal with them that one.
Oh, okay. Very good.
Thank you. Let's proceed to clause 81. Sorry.
No, mate.
No, mate? Okay.
So, 80, this part applies to conduct of an employee, then B, despite any of the following. So one, conduct is being or has been investigated for purposes of commencing an action or proceedings under a law other than this act. So usually, especially criminal proceedings, if criminal proceedings commenced under any law, penal code or offenses under another law, this was double jeopardy rule here. Would we be running afoul if then action or process was initiated under these clauses? LD, would that be a problem? Or in B2 more, action or proceedings are being or have been conducted. They've been conducted and no further action is being taken, it reopens the thing. But if it's brought to a conclusion, and in law 3, an investigation, action, or proceedings are discontinued, no issue with double jeopardy in any of these scenarios?
No, Honorable Chairperson, no issue. Double jeopardy only at the charging of it and going to court already. But this is there's investigation ongoing. It seems for B, it appears to allow the ability to still carry out investigations, despite it being also conduct is being investigated. So this part, it will continue, but not at the time that the charge has been filed. And the double jeopardy applies one already charged and completed, and you are now charging and charging another one for the same action, but that one has already done. So if the process can continue up to the double jeopardy will apply at the time of the actual cases being conducted and completed. So you can't be charged with the same different crime, the name, another information, another charge on the same action that you've been charged with, and proceedings ended under one charge.
So you say, for example, the DPP charges a public officer, the charge has been laid, that would, double jeopardy rule would then prohibit public service disciplinary proceedings from proceeding on that charge as well. Any investigation would have to then be held in abeyance or be suspended, or they can still continue?
Yes, I have not known of double jeopardy to have applied at the investigation time, because nothing has
confirmed,
gotten to the end, and you might withdraw even before charging, so that it applies when completed, like criminal charges filed, information, and completed. Then you cannot charge again for the same action that decision already done. So you can't do another charge on the same action.
So double jeopardy kicks in on charging or on conviction? On
conviction.
Not on charging?
Not on charging. You have not completed it.
I see.
Yeah, as far as my understanding of it, it's you can't recharge that person for the same one offense that
has been tried.
Yes, tried and completed.
Yeah, convicted or acquitted.
Yes,
but it has been tried.
Yes, so has been tried.
Okay.
Thank you. We move on to clause 81. Any question, comment on the clause 81?
Yes, Chairman. So 81A, the following are confidential reports of performance assessments conducted under Division 2, and of course reports under Division 4. So they're confidential. Do you have an established protocol, and where does that come in? Is that a matter for public service orders or regulations that classifies levels of confidentiality and for levels of authority on who accesses what kind of information?
Sir, thank you for the question. At this stage, we follow no government policy in terms of which one I'm classified, which one I'm classified, but in terms of normal practice, your red file I'm classified in terms of MWPS from number one, Lord Ministries, and even me file. So the red file, Lord Public Officers, MWPS, and then in terms of discipline, him no for look after me, like those issues inside the
red file.
Red file. So no in one ministry.
Public service 10,000 red file you?
Yes.
Mana?
As long as you've been charged for anything, open file, red file open for you now.
Oh, only for charge, no more?
Yeah.
You know, open them red file for everyone?
No more.
Oh,
So he's a good man, buy no red file for you.
white one no.
Yeah, buy two personal file and accounts file blue.
Oh yeah.
Accounts file na, at kaya sem authorize na, salary blue gwan sa ito, tatwa na, accounts file blue na, West Publi Ministry blue,
Oh, no public service.
no public service.
Then white file blow what?
Personal file, that all details blue where,
Oh,
Honorable Kukun talk about yesterday, but you life, you die, you life, you in.
oh, yes.
Personal file.
So how many red file na you?
Stuck a little bit.
Any?
Actually, throughout the public service here, imi go cost them 7,000 workers here. 7,000 plus workers at post there, and then 9,000 plus vacancies. So, actually, 2,000 plus vacancies. So total manpower is 9,000 plus.
Okay.
In terms of red file, yeah, I'm not that very big in terms of numbers here. I mean, I'm less than 200 files no more with the middle office. Yeah. But some of these issues could be minor issues. I have no really major issue. Maybe issue of both them late every time, and no sa kamwaka, kind of same. So, what prefer come case come public service, we deal with at our level. So, once that open, then we follow open them case, and then got red file office na.
So, may I add no more law?
Yes, please.
May I add no more law for the red file here? Once red file them open, blow them open him, keep lo diyan na. Say for instance, somebody public officer committee many misconduct whereby law, yeah, before now. Once the file am open na, him no close until it's created na.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so him depend law. When it got report him no more, refer to the who na PS that time.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
But if go officer am exonerated, red file stop na eh.
Once you commit him thing, you
No, but him cleared. Or investigate.
file him open na, I mean.
Well, yeah, file blue open.
Open now.
Stay na.
Man go to heaven, hold him go out.
So, say like that one, like go say finish work. Those issues too, first I come look at them to file blue for look na LDSB blue.
Oh yeah, man.
Suppose you commit him tented elevate. By chances we take him LDSB by him low too, yeah. Because you not disciplined. Because him for a long and dedicated service you give him look man. If long that way you little bit current discipline issue, it's a big issue where sometimes committee but no give you LDSB blue.
So professional standards now create him, then give him come low.
Correct.
And no get no more garam access lem
Yes.
one more.
Yes.
No more professional standards.
So the file I'm not go through a normal filing system in tray.
Oh, it's true. Okay.
So that's why reason that the problem started with here. Him stay close to room me. We from door no we go give him file. Yeah. So
No look him too.
what about no look him to?
You know like
So spam no more.
So if suppose go issue him need for consult with him or the DS for me for some issue advice or something or saying how no me this one no me take him. Yeah. So him no me self call him maybe DS TV or DS yan, but mostly me and the AS below program standard no more me to look at files. So once then ask him AG's advice or certain issues here. Once it hasn't been done, then we first dispatching file. I'm also yeah. So in terms of confidentiality, that file yeah, had to even the EPS law ministry, I'm had to look at it.
another something me thinking low now. And I think it's important right across, of course, there is legislations for me improve lohem. This matter of treatment. So, for example, there's a disciplinary case, a fairly serious one, which could potentially result in criminal charges or termination. Then someone like influencing professional standards, that public officer or someone acting in their interest with or without their knowledge. Someone's trying to influence that process. So I'd like talk with him, someone not come talk with him, you, and also that we have in the law some compulsion, compel whoever receive him this kind of interference for must disclose him, and if I'm not disclose him, is in itself misconduct too, serious, major misconduct. Because if someone come look at me and say, bro, yeah, daddy this day no more, mommy this day, Mrs. Lucy him more. But stressful good waiting with picnic now, go him now, I'm still him something selling now, or doing what kind of something or something. It's all fair, but that's a matter for investigation to deal with and for the accused to plead, in normal process of investigation by finally casting him for him explaining why I'm doing what I'm doing. And then that kind of pleading would be taken into consideration when you're dealing with, okay, so therefore sanction blame, punishment blame should also. But for come use him outside law process to try and influence decision makers, law professional standards and law permanent secretary. In the final analysis, even law commission. So anybody who tries to really either interfering or trying to pervert the course of justice, law level or that process, the person receiving such influence or interference should report it, and if they don't, is in itself major misconduct.
Thank you, sir. I think that one could be addressed under this one, clause 121, yeah, undue influence.
One to one. Okay, anyway, when we come to it, let's discuss it. Let's make sure we include him. But the onus must fall on the responsible officer who's received that kind of
Influence.
Yeah, influence for must report it.
Thank you. Let's move on to Division 2, inability.
LD.
Yes, legal draft person.
I apologize for, but if it's possible to, we found the for 79, for clause 79, and just for the record, for as PS has said, we will be looking at it again, but just for the record, I did say that there's references to a permanent secretary in other provisions, and these provisions are in relation to 79. What I was referring to is references in clauses 58, in clause 60, and clause 61. In those clauses, it is a reference to a permanent secretary. So perhaps that's not the permanent secretary, but a permanent secretary. But these will be the matters that we, as PS said, we will be looking at together after. Yep. Thank you.
I suppose the policy issue there is that there must be somewhere in the bill that the same rules and laws applies to all permanent secretaries, including that of the Ministry of Public Service. That's the principle.
Yes.
One law to rule them all.
Yeah. That will not be outside of the framework, because the clauses that I have referred to are really, clause 58 is about the recruitment process, clause 60 is about probationers, and clause 61 is about transfers.
Right.
Yeah, so they're not, yeah, so
Correct.
it's A,
But conduct.
yes.
Yeah, so 79 is about conduct.
So,
Conduct has to be caught.
yes.
Make sure PS is included, and especially the DS.
We will make note of that, thank you. I mean the discussions.
Thank you. Take note of it, legal draft person, as well as the PS. Let's move to clause 82.
Current practice Blue Eval this area, you know, every now and again I will see in the papers re-advertisement, you know, and it always occurs to me, you know, and someone's been acting in that position a while. So if they're competent, appoint them go now. And if they're not competent, well, why are they still there? So time a position is re-advertised. Obviously, someone's made a judgment that, you know, person acting him, you know, competent to fulfill that follow role. So I want to know what's the policy guiding or situation also. So here talking. Huh? You're talking about inability. An inability and incompetence are not necessarily the same thing.
Thank you, Chair. Leader, for that question as well, in terms of the process immediately came this time in terms of those vacancies were got re-advertised. Okay, the policy below, I mean, intention of public service that if a person there's a job vacant and then advertise it. For example, director post. And if somebody perform under him finish, then he's acting, and then acting by commissioner give him, if supervise, PS numbers are given for him supervise the positions. So what we usually preach to ministry is that if person perform acting role, you submit him for promotion blame no. You don't need to go out and advertise the position.
Turuna.
You give come no report blame no. This person fulfill this one. That's why I need for promote. So commission no garam difficulty lot one. Once I'm come to public service, PSM and those I'm go. Most of the cases I'm put him go. I'm go through no commission and accept him. The only issue no some positions is that if readvertisement people who apply come out no ministry na recruiter and the ministry no garam too. That's for capability or that person himself take over. So especially with technical positions. What admin positions here I usually filled up. Technical positions because as me tell yesterday the gap low here at middle level management for gap and a big issue this time. Once a director finishes, somebody taking space blame, quite difficult finding somebody within the ministry. So when they advertise, me follow no sabe take him in one. For example, in the case of public service, we have a 3 full assistant secretary post available. So nobody am acting at the role this time. So when we advertise it, the capable, the caliber of people applying, have no meeting the criteria. So even go through the interview process here, you just not say what not people talk about them interview mo. So if you take them come them, it will be a difficulty for taking them because like assistant secretary post and contract post, so you need somebody that caliber from advising PS in terms of these issues. So I'm no reason I say why I'm looking sometimes advertise and because people apply out the meeting criteria and then others here I'm not advertised because people were stopping and me push them up. So now what public says like him, push more people come up. If what perform, you push them up. If what not perform, him na, but me deal with him na inability where report them come, me give him chance to continue for him perform, but him no perform. Then I'm gonna wait too for me to release him out of service or kind patient patient reports him come. Thank you.
Thank you, PS. Was we case block at the PS here? PS contract blind finish must advertise na yeah. Take him come back more same person. But has to go through that whole process.
Actually, the PSS here because Commission and the Minister of OPMC now deal with him the contracts for PSS. That's why time we talk about law, one of the clauses law and talk about performance management about the PSS where law bill and provide for this time. So once that bill has passed and then improvement mechanism, no the committee sabi deal with them na performance float cases where then during the interview process or reports sa producing commission to money am na perform naman. As you said, this time once advertised, people apply, then mostly also come back to PSS. So that one in the commission and the OPMC now deal with in the case of PSS. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, PS. Can we move on to clause 83? Yes, leader.
Just the numbering. Were we missing something here? 1, then jump lot 3 now. 1A, 1, 2, 3, then B, C.
Yes, sir.
Or just the numbering?
Numbering issue.
Clause 84.
Have you got drafts? Lot is 1, lot 84 here, misconduct here, major and minor. Give us an indication of where the line is drawn.
Yes, sir, we have a draft going for Wakalan in terms of categorization, which one and major misconduct. You mentioned this one prior to in the beginning time story, Mr. Bill. I think you mentioned him now what constitute minor, what constitute major misconduct, and this will be specified more specific law regulation by Bulgarian for this one.
I suppose the issue here is that major misconduct must not include offenses where already exist in the penal code or any other law. No any overlap, I suppose, is the concern we have. If them overlap, then not punishment believe them low too much. So any conduct must be conduct where that's all. So maybe that should be stated here, so that it is not up to the minister. That if the minister by regulation putum now what conducts here, but what conduct are covered by other laws and the penal code, then by operation of this law, by strike him out. Hey, DSU, this is a here.
You take note of the recommendation.
He can take note of foreign minister to do it. Hear what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Honorable Chairperson, yes.
Yeah, so by operation of law, is that any inconsistency between a regulation that specifies what is major and minor misconduct and any other law in the penal code, then that regulation cannot prevail under here. Because we want the higher penalties where other laws have offenses and penalties, including penal code.
Thank you, sir. That is noted. Just to also further note that the regulations cannot supersede an act of parliament. So it cannot supersede a penal code matter. Any offenses in a penal code, these regulations cannot.
Right, because it's subsidiary, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, if you also all right, but then if also we should maybe have a general provision somewhere when it comes to offenses and penalties, say that these, the part that deals with offenses and penalties, if there is an inconsistency with the penal code or any other law, then But use him now, that other lawyer. But in fact, you know, last time I forget what we were dealing with, and one of our recommendations was to ask you or that ministry to enter into dialogue with the Law Reform Commission chairman, because they've done some analysis to standardize these penalties, offenses penalties under the Miscellaneous Penalties Act of 2009. And so, you know, it's roughly standardized there. The offenses penalties here, especially penalties of Barawa,
Low.
extremely low.
So, Chair, leader, actually, we discuss some issue lo first day lo hearing ba. So we take note of those issues we discussing. So actually, it's in here. Issue lo penalties block the offenses here.
Story with him, Chairman of Law Reform.
So once we done that, and we will by give instructions to LD for doing that one.
Good.
Yeah.
So I think we've discussed that. So you were asking about the minor misconduct there. Lo was not categorized. So lo minor hem lateness or absenteeism, minor instance of idleness or lack of productivity, failure to comply with the obvious procedures after warning, acts of indiscipline, isolated incidents of insubordination. So those are some of the minor misconduct, and the majors now, like gross insubordination or willful disobedience of lawful directives, fraud, embezzlement of theft, action causing serious financial loss or reputational damage to the public service, all forms of harassment and intimidation, sexual harassment, sexual discrimination or abuse of office, including extramarital affairs within the institution, repeated minor misconduct after exhausting previous warnings, any act contrary to the Constitution, public service act, or any laws that endangers public service integrity. So those are some of the major misconduct put in law by putting regulation.
See, that's concept law. Some of that list of major misconduct, they are clearly criminal. Theft, fraud, or they criminal na. So you really don't want to punish them under here. Here, I mean, equal this man, Jesus is so. So say, Jesus died for everything, you know. Why more you punish him over the so.
So say if all locations say me, if I'm depend very much law. Permanent secretary when stop at the time. If I'm looking at case, I'm needing police criminal case, I'm needing case law police now for charge him under criminal code or penal code law issues.
But I mean, if you include him law there, then obviously first investigation process here by him under the auspices of this legislation, and therefore by him result law disciplinary action taken under this what process here, and then charges law here, and then penalty here, you impose him law here. But there should be an avoidance of doubt clause in the legislation for say where there are misconduct where he criminal, permanent secretary is of the view that I'm criminal, then he refer him now. In that way, process blue him end there now with the referral. Then criminal process him take on now. So we just have one process to deal with certain kinds of conduct.
So we take note of that before by putting inside. I think that's the police intention that one. Like things in criminal nature, leave police handle na. And find him guilty, and go press in, same time press in, termination law public service, and automatically him come into effect na because him go press in na for theft or deal or something. So yeah, so like the current regulation, actually a lot of gray areas left. Like with the new one, could be more. Yeah. Same, for example, we give last time other areas like if you deal with them, if you transfer people, I'm do wrong lawyer, I'm go another place now. So
I'm go do wrong there, mo.
I mean, issue of like law code of conduct. I'm talk about sexual harassment, no more. Yeah, you go harassing somebody, but reporting you. How not for people colluding having some rubbish thing inside office, how do you deal with the situation? Then you look at the consul, I'm right blame. So, you seem later, I'm going to take another lawyer, I'm right come, I'm going to give law. So, what we do now is we transfer people. So, suppose I'm transferred, then a lot of gray areas loophole. I'm transfer go there, I'm going to here. And what going on to I mean, unless I'm going to a country, then president, but no casino there. So, those are the issues where sometimes people, certain incidents, people go asking compensation to a lot of places here where things happen.
Yeah, PS below rural development have come complain about, no rural, what do we know about? Agriculture. It's agriculture, complain about that one. So having, two people doing that. Name affect a moral blow the rest of the service. So it is a serious matter. I think it needs to be taken very seriously, and then regulations must borrow clarify them now. So him talk about at least one fall or two fall officers here. Him married. Narwani means so him single or married too, but obviously him one married, one single. Him same also him two fall married. Him causing problem, but. And someone else come and talk, what's your 12 single? No good 12 preference, but go 12 married, but me stop him 2 years. So I think the behavior in the office is the important one. If get outside, no matter outside him, bring him disrepute law service to you. There must be some kind of protocol to govern, to help guide behavior. You may not stop him but you may say behavior all same. And if you got him relationship, perhaps some disclosures about that would be appropriate at some level, and then they receive some counseling, some basic counseling as to how to conduct that relationship insofar as the public service is concerned. If you would go and not married, you may like him. Or how dear is what nothing to do.
Consider that in line of.
See, I think you raised a very important point. So we'll take note of that. So one was specified with the regulation.
Yeah.
So actually, same. If I look at some area like non-cash benefits for public savings, those are some of the areas. Like for example, immigrant people for counseling people. Oh yeah, venue where there's public saving in garam issue, I'm going to refer them for counseling. We need to take him what criteria for me take on counselors. No go to me take him counselors and go make him something worse go more. So even for garam too, there's criteria for giving what the public savings look. If she was him come, then when we refer him, let's say, so she should be DSD them come, you go looking me canceling money. You are problem safe soon,
you no give money.
So problem Romina is that even if you to who others cancellers, I must guarantee fit him criteria input him, and then I'm not saying go to put him go him instead for making problem good, and making worse go more. So those are the areas none for look them too. Look, simple look even need like some of these issues we discussing behavior issues here. Him need for a good counselor him for counseling people him no more. For himself, so time issue them come, so okay, but me call them come, so you will no second work full time. What happened, Leo? So me get them issues, so okay, but me refer me to counselor for me look, and these are professional counselors. Then I'm not saying that criteria professional counselor to you mean for look them who are these people. No good time put him go to him, man come outside him worse go than before, no. So those are the issues that for look them terms of and non-cash benefits for public servants. Which leads to those issues we discussing later.
Yeah, now something during law office. Drink somewhere, then you come law office. I mean, sometimes you go lunch, part law worker, you go lunch with him, Ambassador X and Y or something else. They may serve some wine, but no for terang, because you rice here melt good lobel no way. Not much time free wine or semi or like I'm full. I say empty cup. Him laugh. Suti meme. So, there's got to be some clear rules for this one, and they must fit in law. List law misconduct, is that major or is that minor? And this time, this time all new excuse mo, or me fundraising, lai o derang normal, derang normal obvious. So it's got to be clear. But let's make our public offices places of dignity, where people got him high respect lo him. I might look him, hey, you got money. But play that, then whole go inside lo eskia, then go ahead and play that. I mean, nice for morale maybe, but it actually does bring other questions to bear on the people working in those offices, treating those offices less than what it should be. Office here, public space here, space owned by the public. Public space, but space owned by the government and people of Solomon Islands must be treated with that level of respect. So these things are to protect those offices and, of course, then protect the officers.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think me understanding when those issues, I mean, me too. Yeah. Like, I don't want the public sector people go drink inside and kind of say me. We must even build not and smoke. You demand side, come inside the permissible officer. So, the public service we are doing that. And in terms of office kia, me no more only what the head manager. Come no, you come do tomorrow one time you like you come back inside. So that one thing is our wedding kind. Not money go outside and come back more and drink come somewhere. Come you we sleep inside more. So we want to avoid those things. So I think inside the regulation, yeah, by for space if I'm good, not those tidying up good for no loophole where people have make use of them. Because the incidents happen in terms of fundraising and all same. People come to office and then after fundraising, you say what happened. So time was same cases come na. You say kalau Monday case appeal public service na. Then people come report him na. Things say come issue come gusto fundraising office na. Something happen. People go outside and fundraising hotel. Good. So we look at those issues. So people understanding well, but say in terms of one. So with the new regulation, yeah, and all the say could be some issues for people add more meat to it, and then I must strengthen the party. Thank you, sir.
Not only music, then taxi park lo side, only big bass here. What's the matter? Fundraising now, hey, you got office block government me. Me make him go away, was some collab now. It must form part of misconduct. Who not permit him something if happen, who not participate. But the other area, PS2 is side lo bill not there. One fella friend blow you me, one fella diplomat. Him say lo me, him here for 3 years appointment blame. Time ready for go back now. Me go tea wait him. No, me say what now? Any impressions, lasting impressions lo you, lo country blow me fella. Then him say, your own lack of respect for your own public offices. Oh, what do you mean by that one? Oh, man inside office, mouth full up of bill nut and spit go inside. Rubbish bin here, plastic here, or bill nut. So time you go look, you this one office blow. Oh man, also, yes, me no accusing of man bill nut here, but it must become part law. We have to clean up our act. We're not some cassava republic. We have to be better than this. And we're not discriminating. Man, you like bill nut? No problem. You bill nut come to house now, or you know spit, swallow everything, or right now I think. But the sacredness of the public office and the image we present, and me relate to the dignity of that office. And me something for you thinking around him time you look list lo misconduct eh. Time man em toko sa me yaman turuan tu yaman. You mean not think heavy lo him bata. Ogat looking me.
Thank you, Leader. PS take note, even the dignity, look at the office, yeah, imi need for luluk lo prenim bike ma imi no alam mo katamanya play that lo dia more space lo hem inside lo car park lo office ya. Then let's think serious about it. If consistency need be, hem no place for us in public office now. No, you see more car park, it's part of the public office. I think the dignity of the office, you may honor him and respect him. Little totok lah him, something for him to lewet pulum absox lah him inside lo kata regulations blame. The other one lo kata misconduct major misconduct you totok kam lah him. This can custom compensation ya. Em tipen lo huna em askem no maya. Naraman as tafulai. Naraman sem case ko ask mo nar case tu fal tafulai. 3 fala 5 fala. It all depends on who is asking. But the hem same misconduct no maya. So that also something we need to see it as a problem. Yeah. Awesome. But take note of that by you seriously look at the regulations. We move on to 85. Nothing then, nothing in clause 85, clause 86.
Just the issue for both 85 and 86, no more longer Whistleblower Protection Act. How does that interface with this process, LD?
Thank you, legal trust person.
Thank you, Honourable Chairperson. So, if I understand, I'm looking through the rest of to see where the question can be answered from. So, but the question is about 85 and 86 misconduct being reported.
I suppose the whole process of if someone's, making a report. Obviously, the Whistleblowers Protection Act is there. You would think they could invoke that, they could make the report under the Whistleblowers Protection Act, in which case, by some requirements lo here, by no name lo here, man. Maybe identifying details may not be. The Whistleblowers Protection Act actually still does require those details. It's just kept confidential, that's all?
Yeah, I think so.
I can't remember now. It's these guys who passed it.
Sir, I'll have to look at the Act itself.
Okay.
I don't have answers on the top of my head, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the point is, if the officer Hemi, instead for Hemi, make him report here, come through this fella legislation, him do him under law. Whistleblower. So if him do him under law whistleblower, by you no sabe huna, make him report here. Identifying details here. Then how does that affect your own internal process? Yeah.
Information gathering.
Well, thank you, sir. In terms of the conferential practice that happened this time, there are cases where, I remember last year, I think one or two cases, where complaints and reports come casting for public service. So I consulted the commission in terms of that case.
Under law whistleblowers?
No, Before, no
experience.
experience, but people were giving complaint where even no sabi name na, who na person. I'm just let them come no more, then or ask him for look allegation against certain public officers. So we instigate legal disciplinary process against him. Put him PSU. We do conduct investigation. Issues that raise him.
Then you will find him true?
One of those cases, actually, him not true naman ba? Due to some other issues, na issue him come out. Just because that person name no give him this one, and person name no them disagree, and then why others also so time of the investigation come. Because of 1 month investigation happened, but so we will find out and if all no charge him that person law issue. But then depend law merit of the case na if got a merit and evidence na especially available, those kind of things. So one of those issues I'm raising now, like that person na ask him na 10,000 no semi.
Compensation?
No, kind of semi for count no kind of thing, but there is no evidence where I'm telling him that sila na man ask him. So if there was evidence him come, ba mi for look lang, but since no evidence.
So man ask count him, korosem report him. Man him say man like count him.
Him alleging that person him go account no sem de, him ask count de to money give him, and then him finish him asking him to him for things the same, but him no give no that for evidence. Phone call yo, text yo, kind of same. Those evidence him no stop. So it's difficult for you charging that person. How do we charge him money with that evidence? Him take him go to court by public service and fine. I mean, government and fine more for him discipline person.
I think as a general rule, someone may like for remain anonymous, or got must report under the Whistleblowers Protection Act. Then that process, him got him own process blame to him kick in. Him come back loyal to him. But if got like for report him law you under your current regulations or under this legislation, no, then he must fulfill him reporting requirements. But as a rule, right across, if man him report him something and him not put him name below him, waste him time and resources straight for investigate him. So if him believe him true, by him put him name below him. Like, no with him hoax no more, vendetta no more, no same. Coward no more. So you must not entertain him. Summary dismissal now, what kind something of a reported allegation. LD.
Honorable Chairperson. There's specific provisions in the Whistleblowers Act about confidentiality of identity of informant, and it's an offence to release disclosure of identity of a person under that act. It's an offence under the Whistleblowers Act.
To release?
Yes. Person commits an offence if the person, while exercising a power or performing a function for an appropriate authority, and appropriate authority are those listed like Ombudsman, Auditor General, etc., obtains identity of a person who makes a public interest disclosure to an appropriate authority, and B, engages in conduct that results in the disclosure of the identity of the person. And then the maximum penalty is there.
So I think it's a fair process. So you would have to make it known to all public servants that if they want to remain anonymous, they go to the whistleblowers regime. If they have the guts, they can just report it under your process and then front up with the evidence they have. But not to send you unsigned or unnamed accusations. That could be frivolous, vexatious, or nothing, no.
If Honorable Chairperson, yesterday we also went through the provisions about the reference to the whistleblowers, and that the ministry will encourage and carry out programs for the public, for employees to understand and to assist the employees in using and protection under the Whistleblowers Act.
That's very good. Apply from there.
Clause 72.
Right, okay.
Yes,
Director?
having said law KYPS tu.
Yeah? Belum whistle.
Okay, can we move to clause 87?
Look, 80, you know where?
87, 80, 88,
86.
86? Okay, we,
Okay, so lo here, misconduct that is assumed here, and again by comeback law, list blue law misconduct minor and major. Assume him that hemi law physical space, but what so if misconduct him? Will you have in that list misconduct in the virtual world?
Which in the sense, say?
Well, social media and also, bullying is happening
I'm inside too.
online, yeah?
Yeah.
Online bullying.
Social media postings.
Right now, we don't have a cybercrime similar kind of legislation yet.
Not yet.
But it's an issue worldwide now. Law revenge porn, for example. Mane frenim gele, and to go do wrong. Mane taken video lo hem. Gele mles go frenim narman bakaba apum. It really should be a criminal offense here, because of privacy below another person. But because him no criminal yet, I think maybe you should include it when time him criminal, him go to penal code now, so that there's no overlap. But if a public officer engages in that kind of conduct, it should be a very, very serious offense. The other is, what do they call them now? Deep fakes. So, because of AI, bagot sa tekem Saulo DS. Maturuan
Example.
Yeah, example. Because ang problem is, by mo sa post na may example lo mo lo ya. So, if o tekem pixel one man, then ogat go putum lo, pornographic images. So, but face you look, ay mo bro yan ay. Tawe, man sit down and sing chorus and show si but putum ravi siya lo hem. With it's all sorts of rubbish is being generated, But time something happen, man, innocent money. I'm demoralized him, affect him, discipline, affect him, workable him, same. So what for do him now? We're waiting for legislation. Minister Blow, Communication is working on legislation to tackle these problems, but it may be a while yet. But in the meantime, we're dealing with this. If public officers are engaging in this kind of activity, then there must be sanction. Lohem. I mean, there's nothing, LD, there's nothing stopping us from criminalizing it here now. If public officers engaging in cyberbullying, cyber, revenge porn, deep fake stuff between public officers and
Between public officers.
or at least conduct of public. If public officers is doing it for an individual outside, should still also, that's conduct too, yeah? I mean, we don't have to wait for an amendment to the Penal Code or a new Telecommunications Act or Cyberbullying Act or Cybercrime Act. We can criminalize some of that here with regards to public officers' conduct.
Yes,
Possible, man.
Possible.
Hey, PS, you almost think around him, man. So lo here, 86, and talk about physical place here. Oh, lo point cruise now, money have go, me. Little bit,
Challenge.
yeah. Rangam, ultim transition challenge. Like fight come lo here. Oh yeah, that's point cruise here. But online, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it, but can you look at it, please?
Yeah, thank you, sir.
It is a serious problem.
Yeah.
Any case of ka come so far?
Several cases naman in terms of kind of same through cyber, but kind of harassment na. Kind you like yung kalgele, you said them go so raw picture lehem those are the issues naman.
Kaya that one should be.
So, me fala that cases same lead to termination too, kan tapos same because same harassment na.
Yeah.
Because same look, part of conduct them para haras na. So, we have some cases, not stuck up, but one, just one case I think in terms of one where you use him now to Facebook and WhatsApp for me doing what those things.
Yeah, so we must include the list here.
So actually, I'm buying to list in because same happen finish na, so we'll do with that.
But then you not treat him as a misconduct no more. You criminalize him now, so you're adding to the penal code law here. It becomes a criminal offense.
Under penal code.
Yeah. So you must appum now punishment. This one law here 6 months here. I'm so too much here. Appum make him in line with him other similar offenses in the penal code. Can him go so something else or wall or over now. Yeah, no sense. So include him with political appointee inside.
Special employment.
What special money?
Thank you. With him, look at the penalties. I think building standards na you may come across him later. Yeah. So AG, I think look at the team a little bit work on him just to look at consult with him penal code just to see consistency. Look at the penalty units and imprisonment. Yeah. So you can go back to that. Let's move on to 87. Clause 88.
Unemployed, volunteer, volunteer domestic, volunteer overseas to volunteer scam.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. I think. Yeah. Statutory rule.
you mean like 88 to a year. Yes, must take all reasonable steps to ensure that volunteers are not used, A, for work for which the public service would reasonably be expected to pay. The whole point of volunteer is, I'm come doing work away, government should pay for him, but I'm like volunteer. I'm just thinking, before here, so look at, but before time lo peace ko him kakam here. Somehow doctor come, somehow engineer or some. Once doctor work alone nab 9 year, doing work that should be government should pay for him here. Or if I'm engineer, then I'm work alone rural water and last time somehow saka work alone. Rural water no same supply. It's work that should be paid for. then part lo program ya scheme ya na volunteering ya. But if you put more you time up. I think this one must out here. Volunteer now. You like worker for pay, you apply Osem through normal. Oh, what's the policy rationale here?
Chair, thank you. Leader, actually the main rationale is for protecting na exploitation against yung mga volunteers, yeah. Or maybe ought to be used as a substitute now for public servants, yeah. Maybe like him taking a volunteer come inside and then full time director telling him for him to work a blame. I may fulfill him some gaps no more, not necessarily him take ownership law responsibility for discharging full duty plus of a patient inside of the ministry.
So Osim say that. I mean that's different. If you say that, that's different. I mean it already is the law. I think you can't. The Constitution is clear on servitude, slavery and servitude and so forth. Yeah. So if a volunteer is being abused, I am bordering on servitude, yeah, and slavery. But 2A and B, yeah, a normal, proper volunteer by A and B, make them hard, to perform functions that are generally performed by an employee. What can function more? Bam can perform a function that should be performed by an employee. There's either a gap in the number of employees na him come, or him come volunteer for gain him some experience, or him part law on international scheme, VSA or VSO or Peace Corps or JIC, Japan one, yeah. So they would be performing functions that are generally performed by an employee. But here you close him off here, so.
Chair, yes, for close to maybe the functions, maybe him specify the contract they signed, or maybe a FTA contract, and never more specify what now should deem law.
For volunteer.
Volunteer.
Yeah. So, I mean, the protections for a volunteer for no drift into servitude or exploitation, those protections should already be in the law. Is that right, LD? We have sufficient, adequate protection?
For non-honorable chairperson, we do have in Section 6 of our Constitution protection from slavery and forced labor.
Right. So, and protection there, if you wanted to flesh it out a little bit more, you could. And maybe a general clause no more that a volunteer would be managed under, still must be appointed, no more than volunteer, still must be appointed, and then you work from that full appointment instrument. Something awesome, rather than talk about pay and talk about functions and or something. Yeah. Depend on case by case basis. Yeah. I mean, we want volunteers to come. We want volunteers to help.
Chair, thank you. We'll take a look at that recommendation. We'll look at this close and then we'll reward him now. What and fit for the question. We understand what you're talking about, sir, so we'll look at it. Thank you.
Yeah, and then volunteer, also Ms. Nare. Volunteer to you? Ms. Nare come. I mean, Teaching Service Commission are not teachers excluded from here, but let's just use the example of a teacher. So missionary come and then him teach. And not necessarily on the government payroll. So, what's something you must think around him now?
I think this could also include missionaries as one volunteers because actually.
Man.
For the purpose of, they are also addressing a need of a service to these
yes.
people.
Yeah. Itu mesti ngeron yang good kam. Mereka mimi.
Let's move on. Thank you. To close 89.
Yeah, in many ways, perhaps you don't need 2 years because 3 provides a way to take care of that. You know, and in public service orders, you could flesh it out a little bit more. But
correct.
2 now is too strong, it's too prohibitive.
Thank you. Take note of that, PS. Let's look at clause 89.
Law 89 theory 7. So secondments. A service second an employee from one ministry perform functions for another ministry, provincial government or public authority. A9. So public authority, that would be an SOE or something or same? Huh?
Yes.
Not a church or some church public authority too, yeah? Just not part of government, no. And then the second one, second an employee to function for a body outside the public service. It's not, I think, church or another organization or
NGO.
C, second a person employed by a person outside the public service to perform functions in a ministry or ministries. Hey, someone outside the public service thread, then you second them go law or perform in a ministry. Just explain him come under what circumstances now you anticipate what scenario. Yeah.
Okay, Sir, thank you for that question on clause 89.3, yeah? A, B, and C. The arrangement law, the secondment this time, a matter from the practice that happened this time when we look in from a ministry or to ministry to another, and from ministry to an agency. Kind of same. The last part of it, second person, employ a person outside of the public service, close in time, service, when we engage in somebody outside, I'm coming to service. What I'm doing now, no matter is that people within the service now, we get empowered for me.
Senate province.
Senate province, so from me, let's say, me take a law, public service, post him go law, auditor general, this agency, or ombudsman, or LCC, but the experience in terms of.
Yeah, but over there, no outside the public service, yeah. Public service, yeah. The agencies, but
they're within public service.
In public service.
So for me, seconding somebody from outside the service, no. Well, let's say from Sinu, me take him come for go work as out. This doesn't empower him, no. Yeah.
You've not done it, and you don't see doing it.
I think so.
So I think maybe to Valère was out. I think when
PNC.
PNC. Law A, something you do even but last part law A too, I think it's out here. Should be to another ministry or for a provincial government or for a public authority. I mean, SIA or Solomon Water. But you not doing too, yeah?
No.
So maybe law A no go for public authority more. Because tell me come law subclause 4 more. Me trouble there too, yeah? Tell me second go law provincial or city council Ogat na PM seconded officer or public service national government na PM? Or Ministry of Provincial Government?
Minister of Provincial Government still paying salary but secondary officer.
Or central government it, yeah?
Yep.
But if 4M come into operation by city council or provincial government, now must pay me. Yeah, but is that the policy intention?
No.
Oh, so by must out him too, yeah?
I think the way I'm drafted it, I think him stop, but the policy intention was him should be go with the current arrangement, no, where when you second officer law ministries, the ministry still pay him now, or money. Not necessary for him. You give him no provincial government for pay him, not people or even city council for pay him.
Yeah, but you still payment, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you want to keep that?
Yep.
Yes. So I think sub-clauses 3 and 4, yeah, but maybe must in them for or reflect them that one.
So we take note of that. We'll make sure that they come back here, but I'm amended this one. Thank you.
Thank you, PS. So 3A, also note him in Lohemia for public authority.
Clause 5 here, 7. So PS must make public service orders providing for. So public service orders here, and PS not doing, minister, yeah, man?
Yeah.
Okay. So for the following, duration or maximum duration of secondments. What's the practice now? So second officer go down Logizo. Hem got him a maximum limit lo duration hem sa wakalo de?
No.
Hem open-ended.
Open-ended.
Depend normal or
Need
lo there. So why are you wanting to now set a maximum? Lo 5A.
Maybe this one could be like it could be addressed through contracts, no ma.
Yeah.
Because time contract will end, may you come back to Ocean.
Yeah. Province no happy lo you
or province no happily because you did something no there, then we could recall you back to Honiara.
Or more often you borrow effective too much or get less lo you. So sometimes what province are also too. Hey, money you take him go back ravish money. Same straight too much.
We just like comment normal secondment, yeah. Secondment from the public service, normally group law police or to serve go join him na money laundering unit law central bank, what called intelligence something.
Financial
they have a arrangement on secondment, yeah, from the public service going to central bank. There are in the past there are some public officers seconded go to law FFA law, what they call surveillance and patrol boat surveillance, and also during in the past officers blow mines, what's a seconded go law go reach before 2 years.
Yeah.
Yes, or the seconded under arrangement with the government and the Gorik. So the arrangement was the government still pay the normal salaries while responsible receiving organization, they normally top up allowances normal like that. So it's, I think it's just general document that in such arrangement like that, when you give him approval, yeah, specify normal that your secondment from will start on this and will end on this. Then after that, officer can be returned back to.
Okay, so in that case, subclause 3B by unit for retain him. Is that your argument for that? And also end law A, man. 3A. C na out. And then you're arguing that therefore D him part law this one. But the way D him worded it, him not talk about top up more this one, talk about full salary na.
They will receive the full salary, while
yeah, but that's the point. 4, I'm saying full salary by FFA na PM or FIU, No public service more?
When they seconded, they're still employed by public service. They will be still paid under terms and conditions of the public service, but in terms of other allowances, yeah, by receiving organization or the dinner will pay for the top-ups no more law.
Okay, so as in clause 4, but you need to amend them for take care of that one little bit slight variation here. So the way it's worded, by full salary blame, remuneration blame, by FFA na pay no longer local government.
No, it will be the government.
And then to come back to 5A here, I think 5A too restrictive here. Should be duration, should be a matter for PS no more or determine in the appointment or secondment instrument here. So in which case, a year by you look more PS 5A, subclause 5A. Rather than what is here now, tell them duration of secondments. Duration of secondments is a matter for the secondment instrument to be issued by the Permanent Secretary.
Noted, Chair.
Thank you, PS.
Law B, 5B, monitoring and assessing secondments. What do you do for that at present? I'm officer, I'm seconded. How do you monitor and assess, or do you?
Chair, what happened is, by Mother Ministerial Officer will deal with this one. It will request that Kamlop PS Public Service for release for secondment arrangement. Yeah, and it's between the agreement is between, like for Gorage and mines. So the monitoring and assessment will be done by two. The report will be in Kamlop PS on the activity of the officer seconded to the.
So you will receive him? Monitoring assessment report or seconded officers, you will receive him too?
Yes, during the games, we can receive mga reports.
But
The current arrangement DSDB talk about, actually, no, it's not happening at the moment.
What's the seconded officers go of provinces, city council?
Those them through the PMP blockade performance management blockade through the PMP process.
And that's centrally managed by Faloyana process.
Yeah.
I'm good to hear. You just have one way of dealing with it as opposed to you make them go and collect them. A little bit harder for coordinating. You will get start, so we will test him out.
Thank you. That's for 89, clause 90.
No, Milo, subclause 580.
Oh, you let 580. Okay. Continue, leader.
So yeah, so if 5A, you may say, leave him go law, secondment instrument law PS, and that means D2, 5D, should also leave him normal law or instrument there. Termination and termination blame. Because by me depend on a case-by-case basis too, this thing, on the need. And then time Kasim, if go, no, but as situation no resolved it, so by you need the money or stop go more. You need maximum flexibility.
Honourable Chairperson?
Yes.
These are the matters that the public service orders will provide for. Perhaps I would, depending on confirmation from, but it will allow that flexibility for case by case in the public service orders.
Yes. Okay. Very good. Plus 90, you say yes, yeah?
Yes, please. So we are on clause 90.
Clause 90, Chairman Law Reform Commission raised the this whole word implied there, the third line there. Subject to an implied requirement to perform the functions of the office in a manner that. Then him say implied here should be replaced with expressed. So that it's not just presumed, but it's clearly the expressed requirements. So why was implied chosen?
Thank you. PS LD?
Thank you, sir. I think the LD could explain more on this because it's a drafting issue.
The words implied and expressed.
Yes, Honorable Chairperson, it's also in subclause 2, implied conditions. And if it is drafted this way, there's a reason for using this implied conditions, particular for statutory office holders. I don't have the record with me on why the express provision for implied is there. I'm also trying to read through, but it seems to be intentional that it is to be there. So if it's there, it was from policy reasoning for statutory office holders only.
Okay. Well, I don't see the reasoning, but please make the case. So maybe take it on advisement.
Yes.
And further look into it. But, the exercise of law should, by and large, there will be matters that we would have to rely on, what is implied. But if we imply something, it's better to express it so it's clearly expressed. And sometimes maybe it's a little unfair on officers, expecting them to perform implied requirements. You say something that tell them, but me meaning for you do mo say me. Eh, me no read him head blow man. But there may be a good reason. Have a look at it.
Yeah. Yep. Take note of that and look like him. Can we move to clause 91?
Yeah, this one special one blue you and I one. So yeah, title first thing name should just be political appointees. We call a spade a spade. Yeah, man. Aleo no spade a crowbar.
Language leader. Change.
So the Secretary to Cabinet, if of the opinion that it is necessary to do so, shall in consultation with the Public Service Commission employ special temporary employees who shall be persons who have appropriate qualifications to carry out work of a political nature. Meeting him this wording, go around and round the garden. Tell him straight no more. Political appointees, Prime Minister no more responsible, side of government, leader of opposition no more, side of opposition, finish. And then, it really is not up to the Secretary of Cabinet to hear what political offices here. Of course, there is need to control numbers. Sometimes they get out of hand.
Yes.
Lo there now, you might find him some way to moderate the numbers of political appointees. And then appropriate qualifications here. You look name man lo slow down man. Somehow qualify, somehow. Even so, what can qualify? I talk about it. I mean, it's good to clean it up, to raise the standard. So appropriate qualifications, what now? What's appropriate qualification?
This one now, recruitment lo custom doctor sa kakamlemin. And that leader. Yeah, because I think embara sweet team na this one qualification. Yeah.
Should be replaced by minimum qualification. Would be minimum qualification would be better.
Yeah, but if you tell appropriate, I think is better.
Yeah.
You put a minimum, then you have to say, well, what? No, minimum. Appropriate him or say him more anything, no way. Let's not say something we don't mean when it comes to this, because it is an area we do need to tighten up, clean up. We admit, given political context here, that this is a problem we will continue to live with. And unfortunately, we're going to need, well, we're going to have, I'm not sure about need, but we're going to have political appointees for some time yet. So the best we can do is tidy it up, bring it under some discipline, some moderation, so that Hemino open to the excesses and abuses that we have had in the past. So that's what we must aim for.
Thank you, Leader. In the past, I think a number was raised, a number of political appointees that ME should be sort of given, or it depends on who is in those offices at that time. Because if you make a mose, no good number him just climb up, because it's an expense to the public service.
Anyway, we've made the point. You think about it.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Thank you, Sir. We will think about it, but the issue of this one also depends very much on the political government of the day between the Office of Opposition and Office of Prime Minister. So they could, before put it there, because actually the special temporal employees are catered for the current regulation and we're giving powers to Secretary Cabinet for appointing now those people.
Political appointees.
Yeah. That's why now the Secretary Cabinet I'm still stopped there, because he's the head of the public service. So appointment him now I'm still giving political appointees. So maybe the wording and that's why I'm still stopped with some special temporary employees. So under the current regulation, I'm stopped.
So meeting him, alright, keep him STC now for doing.
Yeah.
But that you mean is saying what? So I mean, consult with him Public Service Commission for what here? Him should consult with him to follow head blow executive government and head blow opposition. And then in those discussions to be guided by reasonableness, low staff levels or manning levels or the need or get up positions here with regards to resources and also something that should weigh on that decision. So I'm facilitate him, at the same time I'm bring him moderation or discipline to bear, but leave him appointment to him. But I mean in terms of Public Service Commission,
so the current arrangement commission him for no team no more.
Oh, yeah?
appointment punya STCD.
Okay. Because law subclause 2, you tell them straight now, 2A. Or get A. Or get no hold him any public office within the meaning of the Constitution. If you say, oh, they're not public officers. If they're not public officers, what go commission for what here? If you note him no more, all right, for me look him no total number where emoluments cover him.
Like currently say in terms of those appointments, I'm going for noting no mas this data because commission by no garam say stop money for come no more. Whatever recommendation come mo noting.
Yeah.
But we will look at this one, say, look at the wording in terms of the consultation should be done between the Secretary Cabinet or PM Noma and the leader of the opposition, an independent group in terms of
something
this.
Independent, yes.
Oh, yeah, independent too.
Yeah.
We'll look at that
Okay.
wording, you know, in terms of meet them, in terms of satisfy na what meeting him. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And I think what later had me start with him, call a spade a spade. Make me sister or something rather than me item or something. Right.
Just on the subclause 3, when we deal with him now, terms and conditions 3A, including remuneration payable during period of employment, specific nature of the work to be performed, and employees not eligible for any entitlement applicable to public officers, except as provided in the instrument of appointment, straight. Is also this one too, we must bring him under discipline too, that two sides to it. We do want, a prime minister needs the best minds available, where all have been part of political level, they've been part of helping party Blohem formulate policy. This is an issue we struggle with all the time. So we have politicians now, party leadership level. When we're doing policy formulation, ordinary members below party, which are some are in public service, DS no more come member it here.
Special him stuff, yeah.
And some are out in business, some are in academia, in all sorts of fields, and they contribute to the policy formulation process, identification and formulation. And they're observers of how the government works. And so when you take government, for example, then I think it is good for the country, it's good for the government. Government can then say, oh, what man blow me here, we got help, what policy, me life what take him come. Make him come, not only him put him in the government policy, but for him drive him too, because him got him passion, something him identify him and articulate him here also. So around the Prime Minister, there should be some top-notch minds. Whether we're getting top-notch minds is another matter, but there should be some good minds around the Prime Minister for advising him. So him got him education, health stuff, but he should also be able to get additional people because he's the coordinating minister driving policy. Sabe use him to rely on advice plot and for driving policy. So we're not in dispute about that. So I'm good for getting this available. And because we're bringing them in from private sector or other sectors, of course we must pay them well. And because we must pay, and because of the nature of the work, if government fall down today, contract not finish today too, yeah. So it's a bit of a high risk undertaking here. So you're bringing someone in from, a company who's making a career and earning well, but you bring them into Wakalo as a political appointee, we should be able to pay them well given the high-risk nature of that job. It could terminate at any time. So that must be borne in mind. At the same time, so two classes here of political appointees. First class na let me describe them here. They're really good policy minds, benefits the country, benefits the government. Then you've got another second class more. I mean, second class, I'm not meaning more low, but ogat political appointee because OSMU minim. Ot man for the drive and boss around, go laila hem for CDF. Hem lo campaign, hem na go laila staka vote for lompaka boss here. Look lo kokase, by look sav no mai. Ogat man lo class A ya, and ot man lo class B. Look some mo B no mo baka B. Man wo by go lo de no anything to him to do him around no more. Director IPAM sabe. So go around on our side. The Oget lo class B, they have a tendency of going around and money man blow back. So outing payment come quick time go pressurize in treasury. Man once him start to do kind behavior, man lo class B, or man lo class A. By hardly ever go pressurize him, intimidate him, anyone. The political power doesn't get to the head. Manlo class B usually do him something. So get manlo class B. In terms of remuneration, you must careful, because a few terms ago, me look low list here, and then me look him. Hey, man, what money pay with him PS now? What manlo class B too? No, this one abuse law, public funds. Yeah. So we've got to be able to bring some discipline to bear. If we're bringing in someone who's a professor at the university, a Solomon Islander, but we need advice and services, wisdom, him, we should be able to pay him at professor level. We need good quality advice, we pay for it. When we get technical assistance, we pay them huge anyway. But we mustn't pay too much for, class B type. Okay. But, there's got to be some, I don't know how you control that PS, but we must think around him. I think recently the Prime Minister tried to bring some discipline into remuneration, political appointees. Did he limit it to like PS level or ME?
I think you say, actually the remuneration block at I'm casting PS level, not the policy secretaries, I'm not going beyond that. And I think this, like, then you look actually block at him not that big, certain level.
Level what?
A and B lo
so usually suffer from level 10, 12 kind of thing.
Oh, so some discipline has been brought to bear.
Actually, me looking at this, like, I'm not go over too much in terms of the remuneration block at so.
Also before.
Yeah.
Before na sabi currently na sabi. So actually, it's the ceiling no more PS level. Yeah? I'm no more than that. So come down. Yeah, actually, there's some. I think there's some discipline in terms of the remuneration. I'm no over too much at that pace. So looking at the president taking this one, but it's a good lem. Then looking qualification. Oh, I'm fit him no more this one kind of thing.
Well, that's good. Well, I'm happy the Prime Minister's been able to do that, bring some discipline. So last time, man. Then by what go sit down lot committees for policy and also me. Man later come behind more. Money alright too. Also they get in as a way to just get money. And also so if some kind of behavior, kind of attitude, also you look so gonna got 7 this one or that man should go work along mines here. Mining man this one
Thank you. Yes, by if there is need for immediate improvement and time. So that's clause 91.
2A here, clause 91 here, Chairman.
2A 91, yeah.
Yeah. Is that the way the Constitution is a definition of someone holding public office, a public officer? Can we exclude him? Special temporary employees or political appointees? I mean, we mustn't give a meaning to it here that is not given in the Constitution itself.
That's correct. So, Honorable Chairperson, the question is to 91 2A. An employee and this one shall not be construed as holding any public office within the meaning of the Constitution. So, nothing to do with the Constitution. Not be construed to hold any constitutional within the meaning of the Constitution. Any public.
Well, what he's saying is an employee here under 91,
Yes.
political appointee. So what he's saying is a political appointee appointed pursuant to subsection 1 shall not be construed as holding any public office within the meaning of the Constitution. So what he's saying is he is neither a public officer and the office he's holding is not a public office. It's excluding both. Because employee as holding any public office.
Yeah, any public office within the, inside the Constitution. So any public office is this position is not holding any position in relation to any public office in the Constitution.
As in constitutional post holders or public office generally.
Public office.
Yeah.
Well, let's go to 144 where these definitions are. Public office means subject to the provisions of the next following section, an office of emolument in the public service. Okay? And public service means the service of the Crown in a civil capacity in respect of the government of Solomon Islands. Service of the Crown is a political appointee in service of the Crown. And then a public officer means a person holding or acting in any public office. The Crown is the executive.
Yes.
The executive, of course, the Governor General is head of the executive, but the Prime Minister is the, what do you call it? But the executive, yeah? And cabinets being served by these political appointees. I'm just not sure that 91(2)(a) is constitutional. It may be ultra vires, the Constitution.
So the issue is, the concern is, Honorable Chairperson?
My concern is here you're excluding political appointees and the offices they hold from
Being an officer.
from the meaning of the Constitution of a public office and by implication public officer. Because only a public officer can hold public office.
By virtue of the fact that they are an office of emolument?
That's one aspect, yeah. But the context itself, executive government, cabinet, they're serving the Crown.
The
Yeah.
political appointments are,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's the way it describes it, huh? When I say Crown, yeah. Public service means the service of the Crown, the civil capacity.
If I may, Honorable Chairperson, these were taken, the current rules. Yeah, there are rules that talk about these appointments. So they're ongoing. Yeah. So it's the wording that that they may not be in line with the Constitution. A reading of it is from this side is just that it's not meant to be associated with any of the public offices inside the Constitution.
That's what you're aiming for here?
It's not meant to be a public office in the meaning of the Constitution.
Okay, so that it's trying to clarify.
Yes.
You're saying it's affirming, fleshing out more what the Constitution.
Yes, that is not an office in that sense.
It's not a public office.
Yes.
So it isn't? It isn't a public office?
Well,
Political offices or politically appointed offices are not public offices?
they are not public offices for offices inside the Constitution. They are not that office, so they're not a constitutional office, of course, because they are inside the law here in this bill. So they're not part. They're not to be confused as another office of the Constitution. The way that that looking at it like that, it's by virtue of the fact that they are paid by governments. Yep, that is, I guess that's definite. Looking at it from that way makes them fall under the as public officers.
And that seems to me, that seems to me the test of it. 144 says public office means subject, of course, to the provisions of the next following section that describes a public officer. It means an office of emolument in the public service. So emoluments is the test. And are they receiving emolument? Yes, of course, out of the consolidated fund in the public service. So are they public service? Public service means the service of the Crown. Are they serving the Crown? I think so. They may not be serving well, but they're attempting to or pretending to.
The executive government.
It's by virtue of the emoluments that they become. But yeah. I believe that it was intended that it's not to be called as an office of the Constitution.
Yes. So is it ultra virus then?
No, not
really?
Not in that. But I believe the emoluments part here we will need to, because they are paid and
the Crown part.
Yes.
Service to the Crown.
Service of the Crown. Yes.
Have a look at it. Help us clarify it further.
Thank you. Yeah.
No good by first time what money save him Crown na.
Thank you. So take note and look at it for further clarity to the committee. I think that brings us to...
lunch.
Yes, so I think I'm cutting time for you, Mr. for lunch a little bit, then by me come back more for finishing law afternoon. We'll start with him close 92. So it's quarter to 12. We come back
to 1.
Quarter to 1. Okay. So we'll
To 1 finish now. No, it's 12:43. Quarter to 1.
Puro naman.
yeah.
What to 12 na siya man na.
Oh yeah man.
2 kilo ka no.
Imi come back lo 2 kilo. Okay. Make him immediate ko lunch.
Ani operate lo ark.
Yeah. Thank you too much. Thank you PS and the team and my committee members. Will resume back 2 p.m. this afternoon. Thank you.